channel and news. Tonight, I'm going to discuss an article on The Hill, um, and it was published. Let me see it. It was posted on The Hill. It's showing here. I got this article off The Hill, and the topic is going to be black on black crime. Don't we care about this disproportionate black victimization? Okay, when it comes to the topic about race, you know, and then when you talk about it's okay, they say in actuality, black on black crime is the same as crime in all other races. You know, yeah, I can agree with that, but there's solidarity and more unification in other races. Not to say that all black people are criminals or, I'm just addressing the problems in the black community in the urban areas. And, sometimes, when you look at, come to the topic about race or self hate, you kind of, you kind of, well, I can't understand anybody having self hate for themselves or somebody that looks like them. But I can understand what can lead to that. You know, um, I was always brought up that evil is in all races, you know, and I'm gonna be honest, our people, being that I am a black person, both my parents are black, but to some black people that have self hate, they have a problem with people being a lighter shade than them. This is the ignorance in our community today, and this is 2025. You know, um, blackness is all shades of brown. You know, but you have your two-third black people that hate themselves and they hate anything good that another black person tries to do. They're like the crab in the barrel. And, nobody wants, most black people don't want to talk about it. But, I want to address it today. I think the problem with self hate and racism go hand in hand. And I'm going to give an example. Okay. I've been around intelligent black people, in my family or just meeting, and but tonight I'm talking about two-third black people. The ones that hate their community, hate people that look like them, don't want nobody to have nothing. I'm talking about those people. Now, I was you know, okay, I'm a single mom, you know, and I have two sons. My oldest son, and you would think I would have hate in my heart for some of my people, cause I've seen the trifling stuff they've done over my lifetime, and I'm 50 years old, and I'm just speaking from experience. I had two sons. My oldest son, he was a victim of a crime. He passed away when he was 26, and I had a terrible time with it, And I could have had developed hate for my own people, knowing that it's a possibility a black person, the one that took my son out. And then today, I was enjoying my day. And, I don't stay in like a quote unquote real bad area, but, a lot of black people moved into my area, and, you know, and it's hard to keep up with the Joneses, because the crime just, crime is everywhere. But, when you got black people lumped together, you tend to have the two-third pushed in with you. And so anyway, I had, I'm trying to make it through these hard times like everybody else. And you know what? I step outside, I stay in the apartment, and I've had my car hit 2 times by um, somebody I don't know, a black man that just felt like hitting my car, called the police on him. And just to make the third time somebody messed with my car, which is a black person. I had, I got a car so me and my youngest son could have transportation to get around. And and guess what? I come outside, to start my day. The Negro on the bike sitting down, messing with my tires, you know. And I come out the door, catch him off guard. He frowned up at me, And so I left, came back. I told the people that he know that I'm gonna call the police on him. He keep on messing with my tires. And this is the kind of self hate I'm talking about. I have love for my people, but at the same time, I could kind of relate to a person that they don't want to call themselves black no more. But I ain't gonna never be like that because I love my mother, my father, they're black. My kids are black. So I can't never say I hate being black because I'll be like I'm hating myself. But I can say I hate the trifling things that our people do. And people always try to stay away from the argument about something needs to be done about the black on black crime. You hear stories daily about black people killing one another, black men killing one another, black men hurting women, shooting at them. The crime, they don't have respect for the black women and the children. And somebody got to call it out. Somebody got to call it out. I mean, as black people, we are already faced with racism and all this oppression in America. And it's like you gotta you gotta deal with the racism, and all white people are not bad. You have to deal with the racism and the institutionalized system we live in America. And then you have to look over your shoulder and watch over somebody that look just like you that that hate you and because they miserable, you know, and it's a shame. It is a shame, and all I can say is we have to pray on it and put it in the hands of the Heavenly Father. And people reap what they sow. I don't care who do evil, they all reap what they sow. But back to the article. Do we care about disproportionate black victimization? Okay, in the article it states Black Americans make up 13% of the U.S. population, but 33% of the victims of reported violent crime. The statistics on homicide are even worse. Over 50% of homicide victims are black. And a black person is 7 times more likely to be murdered than a white person in America. Most of those numbers are never punished. And I could be a witness to that, because I never got justice for my oldest son. He passed away when he was 26. And, and it did leave a bitter, had me a little bitter. But, I was able to still have love for my people, because it's good black people. But I'm talking about the two-thirds that destroy the communities and the ones that hate the black women, the black men that hate the black women. Something need to be done about them. I mean, maybe these brothers that's good need to go try to help them or rehabilitate them, you know. And back to the article. In a society where public and political discourse often centers on racial inequity, why isn't the problem of disparate black victimization center stage? Everyone wants to talk about systemic racism, but nobody wants to highlight the systemic lack of policing and punishment that leaves black Americans murdered and robbed at a higher rate and with greater impunity than other Americans. If we care about justice, equality, or equity, we need to talk about this disproportionate black victimization. And I agree with this article. It's a shame that you got to be on guard when you go to certain areas in town. You got to look over your shoulder. As a black woman, you got to watch over your shoulder for a crazy Negro or black man or a crazy ass white man that hates you because you black. I mean, how can you live your life like that? We try to be positive and everything, but like one content creator stated, a black woman, she can only defend herself so much. And 9 times out of 10, she would end up killing a black man before she killed a white man trying to hurt her. And that's sad. You know, why is all this hate thrown toward black women? Some of these two-third black men, they don't care about the black woman or the child or the children, you know. And it's sad, and they tear down the communities. And I'm not talking about just young people. I kind of see where these black young men that are in trouble, how they get off track because they get it from their daddy or their fathers, being off track and not being there to help put them on the right road. And I think that, we need to call it out. Maybe it takes more black policemen in the community to rehabilitate these black men and put them on the right path. That would be a good idea, but it is a problem. We have to call out the black on black crime. We have to call it out. A lot of people want to gloss over it, be like, oh, that's like, no, no. It's out of hand, man. It's out of hand. How can communities thrive when you got two-third black Negroes, dusty Negroes, tearing the community down? And back to the article. Also important is the fact that police, prosecutors, and judges are not driving a cycle of black victimization by over-policing and over-punishing black offenders. This popular myth has led progressive activists to push depolicing and de-prosecution with disastrously counterproductive results. And I agree with this article. We do need the police, but we just need good police to police safely. Do it within the law. You know, and like they say that the police departments are corrupt. What's wrong with weeding out the bad apples? And because we do need policing and also rehabilitation for these black men that are off track. Somebody has to talk about it. It's ridiculous. It's a high. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. It's a high percentage of black men, black on black crime is higher than victimization from white men killing black men. All of it is bad, but something needs to be done about it. And then, like in this article, it says most crime, around 66%, is intraracial and hate crimes, while always troubling are a tiny percentage of crimes, far less than 1%. And that's true. It seems like it's more aggressive crime with black on black crime. And then, you have colorism. You know, how can you hate, you know, somebody that's black just like you, and just because their skin tone is a little lighter than yours, and y'all still black? Make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, it all contributes to ignorance. But all we can do is just pray on it and be positive. But my commentary on this subject is, the crime needs to be addressed in the black community, and there needs to be more solidarity, and and the ones that are terrorizing black communities, their own communities, they need to be held accountable. Time out for making excuses. I mean, it's sad. I had heard a news report over in St. Louis, and also I'm using this article from the Hill Fair Use. I got this article on the Hill. The name of the article: "Don't We Care About Disproportionate Black Victimization?" And a lot of these two-third, I call them two-third because that's what the Bible calls them. A lot of these two-third black men, they don't care about black women. They don't care about themselves, and they don't care about their community. You know, and I think if they're gonna do a study on something, they need to do a study on that. I mean, activists say they try to bring the community. Some activists talk about trying to work on that with the black on black crime, but something needs to be done about it. I mean, how can a black person thrive when they're getting pulled down by their own people? I heard one black man state that he had to worry about somebody that looked like him doing something to him before he had to worry about the white man. I mean, that's sad. Um, and black people need to talk about it, and talk about solutions to that problem instead of just saying, well, now, it's time out for that. Now, Goodwill in the white community, they have a handle on their crime. They lock their people up when they're out of order. So what's wrong with black people wanting their people to be locked up when they're out of order? You know, and that's real. And in a system of white supremacy, we have to cover all sides of the coin. Black people deserve to be protected in their communities, whether they're being terrorized by black people, other black people, or no matter what the race of the person is. Black people and black men and black women need to be protected, and children, no matter what the race of the person is. And I truly believe that needs to be discussed. Black on black crime. you know, and not to say all black people are criminals, because you got people that will contradict you and take what I say out of turn. All black people are not criminals. I'm just addressing the problem. In all communities, no matter what the race of the person is, they do something about their criminals. You know, and it's a shame that every time you look on the news, a black man kill another black man. You know, you know, when is it gonna come to a stop? It's time out for excuses. That's all I'm saying. And and better policing of black communities. 'Cause a lot of times the police, because it's black on black crime, they don't want to solve these cases. They feel like, if it's racist police officer, they feel like, well, let them kill each other off. That's why I said that does need to be looked into, black on black crime. And I heard stories of children trying to go to school. They're shooting at the school buses. Who does? If that happened in a white neighborhood, I'm quite sure they wouldn't have a problem with the white people getting locked up that's doing it. It has to come to an end. It has to come to a stop. It has to be controlled. And in this article, it's saying that consider the original progressive policing reform, limiting police pedestrian stops to prevent supposedly racially biased police decisions. When these limitations on police were introduced in Chicago in 2015, murder surged 58% the next year. Most of the victims were black. And that's what I'm talking about. You know, if the police can't do their job, we have to look at it from an angle. We do need police, but we need positive and professional police. Um, I mean, if a black person do a crime, they need to do the time just like everybody else. And that's how I feel about it. Because it's the black on black crime is getting out of hand. And I know a lot of activists shy away from it. They don't want to talk about it, but we got to do something about it. We have to. I mean, we it needs to be draw attention needs to be brought to it. You know, I mean, I had a conversation a long time ago, and it was a black lady. She was a probation officer, and she was telling me how bad it's gotten in certain areas of the city that didn't used to be bad, with the crime. And she said, no matter where you go, where black people move, more black people come in, the 2/3, and the crime just explodes. I mean, and I think it's by design, you know, but it's a shame, like maybe I think one solution is maybe black men need to go back. I mean, positive black men need to go back and clean up the community, or try to rehabilitate their brothers, to get them on the right track. Because these 2/3, they clowning out here, you know. And a black person should not have to feel that they're afraid of another black person. You know what I'm saying? You know, I know quite naturally somebody say, well, there are white people that are scared of crazy white people. Yeah, I know that. But it's like an epidemic in the black community. Our people are on drugs, they homeless, men out of order, in a spiritual sense, the only solution is to bring them back to the Lord. But if they don't know God, don't fear him, ain't no way to the prison is the place where they need to rehabilitate, and I agree, some black men have been innocently locked up, but I think they need to put more emphasis need to be put on the ones that need to be in there, you know. And it's just a shame that when it comes to discussing crime that's committed on black people from other black people, the topic gets glossed over and thrown under the rug. You know, it needs to be discussed, um, and it needs to be handled. People talk about racism and institutionalized racism, but that's part of racism. Letting 2/3 unhinged black folks out on the street creating havoc in the black community. That is part of white supremacy too. And that's why I think that they do need to do more with the black on black crime. And this article is on the Hill, and you can read it. And it goes over addressing the black on black crime. And, it does need to be addressed. You know, I mean, all we can do is just be positive and pray and stay uplifted. But I don't believe in policing. Maybe police reform, but not policing, because maybe black men need to. Maybe it needs to be more black police officers. They got a good mindset. Not the ones that are corrupt, but the ones that care about their community and their people, to clean up the community. And, you see a lot of young black men out of work, that might be a field that they might be interested in, clean up their community, you know, and maybe they need to address that to help with the black on black crime. And this article, oh, okay, and then it says, in a society where public and political discourse often centers on racial inequity, why isn't the problem of disparate black victimization center stage? Everyone wants to talk about systemic racism, but nobody wants to highlight the systemic lack of policing and punishment that leaves black Americans murdered and robbed at higher rates and with greater impunity than other Americans. If we care about justice, equality, or equity, we need to talk about disproportionate black victimization. And then I heard a story about a black woman. Um, it was a young black woman. Black guy wanted to date her. He got mad because she told him no, and then he attacked her. Stuff like that. That's a two-third. I mean, well, I call him two-third. This is the Bible call. He's wicked. You know, um, and he needs to be in jail. A lot of these black men, not all of them, but I'm talking about the ones that are causing havoc in the black community. Something does need to be done about it. And then then they say it's some black women causing havoc in the black community, and it may be so, but all crime needs to be addressed. And the self hate, and you know um, that needs to be addressed. And just because you're talking about black on black crime, that does not make black people mean that all black people are criminals. Or it means that that's an issue in the black community, and it needs to be addressed. You have elderly people that are getting their homes shot up. It's a serious problem. And I heard of one organization, they were talking about New Era. They came out and helped the elderly woman and helped the person and caught the person that was doing the havoc, shooting up people, elderly people in that community, and shooting up their homes, and got him locked up. That's what activism does. When you cause attention to a problem, it's more likely to be solved. And I think that does need to be addressed, black on black crime. And that's my commentary this evening about it. And peace and blessings, and everyone have a good evening. And thank you for tuning in to the inspirational channel and news.